Hi, my name is Herald-Gutmann. I cover North Carolina. I'm here with Steve Wiseman, who covers Duke. And welcome to Our Game, a video production by the Durham Herald-Sun, where we talk about our game in the state of North Carolina, which is, of course, college basketball. A big week this past week. Actually, this might be the first time I can say that Duke and North Carolina won out this week.
Right.
It's been some struggles early. But North Carolina, they kept that historic home win streak going against Clemson and then won their first ACC road game at Georgia Tech. And Duke beat a pair of possible tournament teams in Florida State and Pitt. That Pitt win at Pitt was especially impressive. But what worked so well in that game?
Well, number one, they shot so well from the perimeter. They made 13 of 25 three-pointers, tied a season high for the most made. Andre Dawkins made 6 out of 7. But more than that, I mean, that's a simple answer. But they also played very aggressive defensively. They won the rebounding battle, which Jamie Dixon, Pittsburgh's coach, said to him that was the worst thing that happened to them was losing the rebound. They knew they had to win the rebounding battle, and they thought they should have on their home court to beat Duke, and they weren't able to. And Duke won handily, and that's a win that got a lot of people's attention because Pitt's a very tough place to go in and win, and Duke, really steamrolled them.
Yeah, with North Carolina, the Clemson game, it's easy to say, oh, they just played harder. That's kind of a cliche answer. Although you did see them diving on the floor more, the tip outs, those kind of winning plays. You saw that more in the Clemson game than you did maybe in the previous 6 weeks up until that Kentucky game in mid-December. And, you could tell, even though they don't really like to talk about it, that win streak meant a lot to them. I mean, that streak goes back to it's the one remaining streak from the Dean Smith era. Mm-hmm. And no team wants to be the team that loses to Clemson at home. So you maybe expected that against Clemson. But then, on Wednesday night, another impressive win at Georgia Tech. Like I said, it was their first ACC road win. The key in that one was a one-point game at halftime. Marcus Page broke it open in the second half. He made all 6 of his field goals, half of them from three-point range. Finished 7 assists, no turnovers. And what Georgia Tech coach Brian Gregory said after the game is if Marcus Page is playing at that elite level, I mean, North Carolina, you almost have to consider them, capable of making the Final Four. You saw it. Obviously, they beat Michigan State, Kentucky, Louisville early. Marcus Page had a bit of a slide, but now if he's going to be back up at that level, that's key. And maybe just as importantly is some of those supporting pieces. I mean, James Michael McAdoo basically didn't play the second half. He was in foul trouble. And they had Leslie McDonald. He's in double figures 4 straight games, which was a career high for him. Kennedy Meeks was in double figures for a career high 3 straight games, the center. He only had 9 points against Georgia Tech, but did have 10 rebounds. So if you can get some Marcus Page playing at that level and the supporting cast coming into place, now you can see how they'd have some success going forward. Now, some big games this weekend. Duke-Syracuse, probably other than Duke-Carolina, the most anticipated game of the ACC season. The 2 winningest coaches, probably a record crowd up at Syracuse. ESPN is going to bring their set there. What are you looking forward to in that game?
Yeah, I mean, it's just everything you said. I mean, 2 coaches with combined over 1,900 wins in one game with Coach K and Boeheim. It's really going to be fun. 2 elite programs, old school ACC, new school ACC. Yeah. Syracuse is on top right now, but, Syracuse has that 2-3 zone, and everybody has to try to score against it. Duke shot well from 3-point against Pittsburgh. If they can do that, you think, oh, that should be it. They should be able to win. But as players told us in interviews yesterday and this week, and the Syracuse guys last night, it's a matter of getting them moving on their defense. Syracuse wants to move in their zone. Duke wants to get them moving and try to find the holes, and Syracuse wants to plug the holes. So it's going to be a little chess battle there, and we're going to see how that goes. And also, Syracuse is only using 7 or 8 guys in the rotation right now. Duke has been using 10 and sometimes 11. And so you think that should maybe give the Blue Devils an advantage if they can get them out and get them running and get Syracuse tired. Yeah,
North Carolina, they got a rivalry game on Saturday. They're hosting NC State, a team they haven't lost to since Roy Williams came to town in Chapel Hill. So it's another big game for them. Anytime you talk about NC State, you got to start with T.J. Warren, Durham native, leading the ACC in scoring. And North Carolina, J.P. Tokido is usually drawn the toughest defensive assignment. He wasn't successful against Joe Harris against Virginia. Tokido fouled out, and Harris kind of went off early. He was much better against Clemson. K.J. McDaniels kind of shut him down. So it'll be really interesting to see that matchup, that individual matchup, where UNC is trying to stop T.J. Warren, and usually, when Warren succeeds, it's obviously a lot harder to stop NC State. So a big week ahead. We'll be here to talk about it next week, and thank you for joining us at Our Game.